Yeah, yeah, Maharaj. And the Mataji was born in Germany, and in 1985 she joined ISKCON in Sydney, in Australia. And since then, she helped to organize temples in former Soviet Union. And 1999, since 1999, she is preaching all over the world, like in the Eastern and the Western Europe, USA, South Africa, India, Bangladesh, New Zealand, Australia. And she is the author of a lot of books. So we're gonna, Yoga Maya Mataji later is gonna tell us about her books also. And thanks so much for coming and joining us today in our temple. Hare Krishna.
Save time and to save my voice, I will not sing because my voice is a little damaged. Can I get a little bit more volume? Somebody can adjust the sound. Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Om Gyantamandasya Gyananjarashalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manupistam Sthapanam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakaramayam Dadati Swavadantikam Namam Vishnavara Kushavasa Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Govani Pachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasata Deshatarine Vanshakapa Tuvasa Kripa Sinivevata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, so thank you so much for allowing me to visit. And it's my great pleasure. For many years, I was thinking, what's happening in Amsterdam? Let me go and check it out. Because I'm quite often passing through Cologne, and this is not so far. And yeah, but as it always goes, it takes sometimes a few years until you get the chance to come. So yeah, it's a great honor and pleasure for me to be here. And I heard you're looking for a bigger place, so this may be the first and last time I visit you here. And next time maybe in a bigger place. Okay, so today we want to discuss the topic of consciousness, the power of consciousness. Because so often we use this term consciousness, right? After all, we are the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, but we may not even realize what it actually is, right? Yes. So let us become conscious of consciousness. Because also Prabhupada was saying, to become actually Krishna conscious, we have to become conscious first. So let's become conscious of consciousness today. Yeah. So, and in Bhagavad Gita, somehow sound went down a little bit. Yeah, somehow. because my voice is a little damaged. That's why I cannot sing anymore, even though I used to sing a lot with harmonium and all that. But after so many years of intense use of the voice, for years on Sankirtan from morning to evening in the street and all that, then the voice gets, not only the other part of the body gets old and tired, but the voice, unfortunately, too. So I have to be careful with my voice. Yes, so in Bhagavad Gita 1334, I'm just trying to find the verse, Krishna gives a very nice analogy for us to understand what consciousness is all about. And he gives this nice analogy of the sun, how sunshine emanates. Hang on, now it's down again. Yeah, because see, I don't have a young man's voice that is strong. Yes, yeah, just to give me a little bit more support and relief my voice. Thank you. Yes, so Krishna gives us the nice analogy of the sun, how sun shine comes from the sun and is illuminating the whole universe. And in the same way, consciousness comes from the soul and is illuminating the body. So it's a very nice analogy for us to grasp what this consciousness is all about. I want to read this verse and purport, since we do have a bit of time. I should finish at 5, right? Okay, good. Huh? My goodness. Yes, so long. Good. All right. So, yeah, this is 1334. Krishna says, O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Right? So that means consciousness comes from the soul. It's the life force. Whenever there is life, some growth, the soul is present. And wherever the soul is present, consciousness emanates. So not only in human form of life, in any form of life, animals, plants, trees, carrots, there's a soul there and there's consciousness there. Yeah. So now let us read what Prabhupada says in the purport. There are various theories regarding consciousness. Here in Bhagavad Gita, the example of the sun and the sunshine is given. As the sun is situated in one place but is illuminating the whole universe, so a small particle of spirit soul, although situated in the heart of this body, is illuminating the whole body by consciousness. Thus, consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul, as sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of the sun. All very simple and logical, actually. When the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body. And as soon as the soul has passed from the body, meaning dead body, there is no more consciousness. This can be easily understood by any intelligent man or woman, of course. So let's try and be intelligent here. Therefore, consciousness is not a product of the combination of matter. It is the symptom of the living entity. The consciousness of the living entity, although qualitatively one with the supreme consciousness, is not supreme, because the consciousness of one particular body does not share that of another body, but the supersoul, which is situated in all bodies as the friend of the individual soul, is conscious of all bodies. That is the difference between supreme consciousness and individual consciousness. So this is a pretty interesting point, that, yeah, the supreme soul is conscious of all living entities. Paramatma is in everybody's heart. So Krishna is present, is conscious of all living entities. We can say, thank God we are not in that position. You imagine being conscious of every living entity, we probably would go crazy, So we've got enough to do just being conscious of this one body and one spirit soul. Also, let us understand, just like the soul is a small particle of Krishna and actually has the same qualities originally. By nature, the soul is all attractive, all beautiful, and eternal, and so on. In the same way, the life force, the consciousness, is actually originally also pure and divine and godly, right? Because the soul is divine, actually. But because we take birth here in this material world, that's why the soul is covered by the three modes of material nature and by so many unwanted qualities, anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, false ego, so many things. So, and in the same way, the consciousness also gets affected. The originally pure and divine consciousness emanating from the soul gets affected by the three modes of material nature and is temporarily covered. And we can say the whole process of Krishna consciousness is actually like a whole rehabilitation process. I actually used to work as a physiotherapist in Germany before, but this is 42 years ago or something, before I met Krishna consciousness, And I could see in my work that I cannot really give people what they really need to be happy. Yeah. And even though I had a great job, self-employed, private practice, could work as much as I liked, I made good money, especially in those days. It was the boom for physiotherapy, and all the health insurances were happily paying everything and so on. So, yeah, still I was not satisfied. I had this deep urge in the heart, actually, I meant to do something else here. And I came to the point where I gave up everything. I sold everything, gave everything away, got rid of all my life. And then I started traveling the world looking for the medicine that gives true happiness. And I traveled all around Europe, around Africa, around Australia. And then finally in Sydney, in Australia, that's where I met the devotees. And 1 week after I met the devotees, that's it, I joined the women's ashram. And so now I'm doing rehabilitation for the soul. The world has enough physiotherapists, right? Yeah, yeah, there's enough out there. But there's not so many who do rehabilitation for the soul. Yeah. And that's actually what the whole process of bhakti is meant to be, that we transform back this originally divine, godly, sublime consciousness, which is covered now in our present condition, to get back to that pure state, which it actually has, but just at the moment we are diseased, yeah. So that's in a nutshell what we're trying to do here. Yes. Yes. So, and not only is consciousness flooding the whole body, it also keeps every cell in the body alive. Yeah. And it is actually in every cell. We will discover this today. And well, as I mentioned, I'm coming from a therapist background. I remember from my medical training, when you cut off a little piece of your finger, let's say, you have only a very short time when you can stitch back on this cut off finger, maybe 15 minutes or something. If you freeze it a little bit, it lasts a little longer. But if it is separated for longer, the cells are dead because they're disconnected from the powerhouse of consciousness, being the heart. And then the cells are dead and gone, and you can't stitch back this finger. Yeah. I used to treat people like that and exercise their cut off fingers and all these kind of things, yes. Yeah, so anybody from a medical background knows this, that you have only a very short time span to keep these cells alive if they're disconnected from the powerhouse of consciousness. Yeah. And understanding this, also let me explain how actually consciousness is also there when a woman is pregnant. The baby in the womb gets full on the consciousness of the mother. Yeah. These things have to be taught, because not only can the child hear everything in the womb, but also gets the mother's consciousness. Yeah. So child raising does not start when the child takes birth, but already during pregnancy. So whatever mood and consciousness the mother is, the child already captures that. And not only that, even at conception, we attract a certain soul according to our consciousness at this time of conception. This is a whole science. It's not a coincidence what soul we attract. So if we are in a very devotional and God conscious consciousness, if we are in devotional God consciousness, then we attract a soul which is already a little more elevated in spiritual terms. But if the child is a result of lust or maybe even in an intoxicated state, then we don't attract such a spiritually evolved soul, because that's what we take from lifetime to lifetime with us. Whatever little progress we have made in one life, we are allowed to keep that by Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, we would never get there to go back to Godhead. So thank God, every bite of prasadam, every time we chant the Maha Mantra, every time we sing in the Kirtan, this is, every time we read a line in Prabhupada's books, these are all eternal benefits which we take into our next existence. So that's how consciousness works, And yeah, at the time of conception, depending on our consciousness, we attract a certain soul. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes people wonder, oh, my children are not interested in Krishna consciousness. I tell them to chant Hare Krishna, but they don't want. Well, what consciousness we were in when we conceived them? That's the next question. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I'm just now writing another book on this topic on children and Garbada and Samskara. We call this, to invite, the science of inviting a special soul. It's all super interesting, and very scientific. And of course, also according to the consciousness at the moment of death. Again, we have this topic of consciousness. So that determines our next existence, you know. So like that, this topic of consciousness is coming up constantly. Even in the mother's milk, when she feeds the baby, every molecule of the milk is flooded with her consciousness. Yeah, it's a fact. So good to know these things, you know. Yeah. I want to share a funny little incident, which is almost like a medical proof how consciousness works. I know one family in Australia. We were together in the ashram. The mother. Now she has 4 grown-up kids and all that. So, and her husband had a kidney failure, and she donated one of her kidneys to him. That's possible. We can live with one kidney. And she is the only one in the family who is attached to eating chocolate. Nobody else in the family is that keen on chocolate, but she is. So, and she always had her stash there of chocolate in her cupboard. And when they came back from the surgery, from the kidney transplantation, she felt like having some chocolate. So she went to her cupboard and, oh, the chocolate was gone. So she asked her husband, "Do you know where the chocolate went?" And he was kind of a little embarrassed and saying, "Well, something overcame me. And I had such a craving for chocolate. And I went to your cupboard and pinched it all and ate it." So then they thought maybe this is connected with this kidney transplantation. So next time they went for a checkup, they asked the doctor, they told them the story. And he was smiling and saying, "Oh, yes, yes, we know this. Every time we transplant an organ, the person receiving it for some time has the same taste and cravings as the person giving it." And then he made this remark saying, "It looks like organs can remember things," which is, of course, nonsense. Organs cannot remember anything, they don't have a brain. But this doctor didn't know the power of consciousness. So her kidneys were flooded with chocolate consciousness, right? And this chocolate consciousness emanated from her husband's new kidney he got from her. And that's why, for some time, just for a week or 10 days, he had this craving for chocolate, you know? And then after a week or 10 days, his new kidney was flooded with his consciousness, which is devoid of chocolate consciousness. And then that craving went away. So, I mean, that's a medical proof how consciousness works, you know? How consciousness is in every cell of the body, even in the kidney. There is in each cell is the taste and likes and dislikes. That's all the building blocks of consciousness. So that's stored in each cell of the body. Wow. I mean, we are getting illuminated here. Yeah, so that's a pretty amazing medical proof how consciousness really is in every cell of the body and emanates. And I remember once one devotee shared how his little child, he was only 1 or something, he had a bone marrow transplantation. And he was saying his child was disturbed for a whole year. Yeah, because I mean, in our example with the kidney, it was only chocolate consciousness. But who knows what this person did who donated the bone marrow, you know? Person. Bone marrow, sure. This is what's inside the bones. Especially here, this bone here plays a big role in producing blood cells and all that. Inside the bones is bone marrow, and that produces blood cells, you know. So, and sometimes when people have some blood cancer or something, they have to have some bone marrow transplantation, you know. Yeah, so I mean, if this person engaged in all the sinful activities, meat, fish, and eggs, intoxication, gambling, and this sex life, so that consciousness would be stored in every cell of the bone marrow, and the small child is much more, affected by external influences. So this child could notice for a whole year some disturbances, Yeah. But of course, if it's a life-death situation, we rather accept that, rather than saying, I mean, there's some Christian group, who is it? Seventh-day Adventists or something, or Mormons, they don't accept blood transfusions. Just Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah. Yeah, they don't accept that. So, yeah, well, there is a reason why they don't accept it, but we don't want to go that far, But some do. Yeah, so that's a little episode which makes it clear how consciousness really works. Yeah. So now, not only is consciousness flooding the whole body, it is also emanating through every pore of the skin as a powerful factual energy. That's what we call the aura. The aura, right? Yes. Just looking here. Yes. Very often we can see on paintings, like here, Krishna has a little bit of an aura, a little bit of an effulgence. Usually we paint, saintly personalities like that. Even in Christianity also, the halo, you know. Yes. In German we say Heiligenschein. It's probably similar to Dutch, right? Yes. Yeah. So this is not just some artistic tool to make the painting nicer or something, but it is factual. Yeah. And we can feel it. If we are a little perceptive, we can feel that effulgence, that energy coming from a person. Yeah. So, and again, I want to share a nice little story with Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in America walking through a city on the way to a Rath Yatra parade. I can't remember which city it was. And a group of disciples accompanied him. And while they were walking, they overheard a conversation between two policemen. And one policeman was saying to the other, "Look at this man, he is glowing," pointing at Prabhupada. So these two policemen had no clue who Prabhupada was. No clue. No clue. But they could see, they could perceive that he was effulgent, that he was shining. Even two ordinary policemen. So if we are a little perceptive, we can feel this divine, sublime, pure energy emanating from a pure personality. That's why often our great sadhus in ISKCON or also in India, we can perceive some powerful energy coming from them. Yes. So, but also in the negative sense, this is also there. So if a person is not in such divine, pure godly consciousness, but if their hearts are full of lust and greed and envy and false ego consciousness, trying to bring attention to ourselves and be the center of everything and so on. So that kind of energy also emanates, mainly from the head actually, but also from other parts of the body. So yeah, and again, if we are a little perceptive, we can feel these things. We may have that experience. Let's say we had some tension, some argument with somebody, and we are in a relatively small room with that person. Even though nobody says anything, you can feel there's some tension in the air, the air is almost electrified, and yeah, right? We had that experience. Yeah. So these things are factual. That's the power of consciousness. Yeah. That whatever consciousness we are in, it emanates from the body, you know. Yeah. And of course, understanding this, it's also very clear how actually every movement is executed by consciousness, right? Naturally. So that's why often we hear Prabhupada disciples sharing how every movement of Prabhupada was just so beautiful, so attractive. The way he moved, the way he danced, the way he walked, the way he laughed, smiled, talked, flicked a piece of prasadam in his mouth. Everything he did was just so fascinatingly beautiful because it was executed through this divine, godly consciousness, right? Yes, that's why it is so uplifting to us just simply watching, some film clips of Prabhupada, even though through the camera lens, the camera lens cannot really capture that subtle energy, but something we can capture, you know. And in the same way, a person who is in a lusty, greedy, envious, false ego consciousness, how that person moves, laughs, smiles, walks, dances, yeah, not so attractive, because that consciousness comes out. I want to be the center of everything. Everybody has to see me and glorify me, and I'm it, and I'm so unique and extraordinary and special. So with that kind of consciousness, the way people move and do things, not so attractive. Yes. Yes, I like that everything is executed through consciousness. And of course, also, everything we create with our hands is, of course, the consciousness coming out of our fingertips. So the consciousness enters everything we create with our hands. I'm sure we all have heard this, that we say the consciousness of the cook enters the food he cooks, right? Yeah, we heard this. Yes. So it's not just something we say to manipulate people to come to the temple and eat prasadam or something. But no, again, these things are factual, that, yeah, when we cook, this energy of consciousness emanates from our body and goes into the food and lingers there. That energy stays there in the food. And when we eat it, it will affect us. Yeah, it's very subtle, but it is factual. So that's why we are not only interested, oh, is it vegetarian? Is it free of onion and garlic? But no, next question is, who cooked it? Yes, yes, yes. Who cooked it? And usually in temples, we do make some effort to try our very best that only devotees in so-called good consciousness should cook. So depending on our capacities, some temples, I mean, I'm traveling all over the planet. So in some temples, only second initiated devotees cook in the kitchen, not only for the deities, but even for the devotees. But many temples cannot have such a high standard. Okay, one step down, first initiated, or one step down, at least we follow the four regulative principles, and maybe at least we chant 8 rounds or something. You know, that's like the standard in Cologne Temple. There on the kitchen door is a sign. Even the helpers have to chant minimum 8 rounds because when you cut up the vegetables, your consciousness also enters every piece of carrot there you're cutting, you know? Yes. Yeah. Wow. It's all pretty scientific, you know? Yeah, so that's why we are concerned who cooks it. And yeah, those who are a little more serious in this path of bhakti, we try and avoid cooked food, cooked by non-devotees. Yeah. That we are not so keen to go to a vegetarian restaurant where not devotees are cooking, you know? Yeah. Or these packaged foods, cookies, and what people all eat, chips and popcorn and, anything, or bread from the shop. Mm, if you maybe eat it once out of emergencies, when you're stuck somewhere in some airport and you have to wait for 8 hours for, for your plane or something. Sometimes happens to me and I don't carry so much stuff around. Well, all right, if you do it once as an exception, you may not be so affected by it. But if it is a regular thing, if we regularly eat food cooked by non-devotees, it will make an impact on us. It's very subtle, but our material desires will increase. Yeah, we will feel more lusty, which can manifest in so many ways, also in eating, that, it's harder to control the tongue and we need something really super fancy, yummy there. And yeah, so it does have some effect, you know. Yeah, so good to know, good to know these things, That's why the home cooking, I mean, even amongst non-devotees, it is known that mother's cooking is the best, right? Yes, the home cooked food, by the mother, because as Prabhupada says, mother-child relationship is the most pure form of love in the material world. Prabhupada says this, because to love means to serve. So a mother who really sacrifices herself for, the upbringing, the upbringing of the child. So that is the purest form of love. Of course, it's not completely pure because even mothers have some emotional expectations and attachments and all that. But out of all relationships we can find in the material world, not guru disciple or something, but in the material world, mother child is the purest. So therefore, if mother cooks something, if she puts her love in, it is more tasty. And of course, even more tasty when she has also love for Krishna, not only for the child. And on top of that, if it is offered on the altar, so all this energetically goes into the food there. Yeah. So, yeah, good to understand. And then we can make a conscious choice what we want to invite into our life. But if we don't even know these things, then we just look at the packet, oh, it's vegetarian or onion or garlic. Okay, fine, and we don't realize that it still will affect us. And this is, of course, not only there in what we cook, but anything we create with our hands, you know. Even when our mother knits a scarf for winter, you know, so naturally her devotion goes into every stitch there she's making, and that energy lingers in the scarf. That's why handmade things are always so much more attractive than things from the factory, you know? Yes, yeah, yeah. I know one devotee in Germany, in Golokadam. Anybody's been to Golokadam in Germany? Yes, few people. Okay. So there's one devotee, he built his house over many years by wood, from wood, more or less with his own hands. Of course, he used a few tools, but very minimal. And when you enter his house, wow, Rajendra Kumar is his name, maybe some of you know him. When you enter this house, ooh, you can feel there's a very nice energy in this home, you know. Very different than just a concrete block there, you know. Yeah, you cannot compare. Especially wood is also an alive material and sucks up all this energy, So yeah, you can feel a very nice warm energy there, Yes. So yeah, that's what it's like. Or if you put cow dung on the walls, cows also have a very healing energy. There's even treatments now, yes, where people just strike cows and brush them, and yeah, very healing, uplifting energy. So even the cow stool, if you put it on the floor, on the walls, you get some energy of the cows there. Yeah, and it's a whole different atmosphere to live with such walls than just concrete or something. Yeah. Yes. And I mean, understanding this, it becomes very clear also why we really adore certain items, which, for example, Prabhupada was using, you know, scarf of Prabhupada, or chadar of Prabhupada, or his big bag, his shoes. So obviously there is still Prabhupada's energy and consciousness is still in there. It's not just some sentimental thing that, oh yeah, we like this or something. No, this is all factual. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we can worship these items even on our altar, because they're soaked in the perfect, sublime, divine energy of Prabhupada. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's all pretty interesting. So now, of course, whoops, it's also already 4:45. Let me share one interesting thing, that consciousness travels on sound vibration. Yeah, I dare say this is special arrangement of the Lord, that the voice is very closely connected to emotions. So when we are in a certain state of mind, in a certain emotion, it comes out through the voice. You can't hide it, because again, the sound is produced through consciousness, and consciousness travels on that sound. Yeah. So, and that's why kirtan is a highly transcendental affair. Yes, because the consciousness of the kirtan leader, of the singer, travels on the sound vibration and affects each and every person's heart in the audience. So that's what actually takes place in kirtan. It is a heart-to-heart transfer of consciousness going on through the sound vibration. Not only in singing, also in speaking. So you better watch out what you catching here. Yeah, no, that's what it is, that's what it is. I remember once many years ago when I was visiting Ukraine, I used to be very involved before the war in Ukraine. I gave a lecture in Kirtan, in Kiev, and there was one lady there who was the very first time in a Hare Krishna temple. And we were discussing quite deep aspects of chanting the holy name and japa. And I thought, my God, how much did she understand of all this? Because later on, one lady came up to me and introduced me, oh, this is a new person, and so on. So I asked her, so how much did you understand? And she gave this interesting answer. She said, my head did not understand anything, but my heart understood. Yeah. And that's actually what happens, that even if people cannot grasp the topic the speaker explains, but you capture something. You capture that subtle energy of consciousness. That's why Prabhupada also insisted that devotees would attend the class even though they could not understand Hindi or Bengali. Sometimes Prabhupada was lecturing in Hindi or Bengali, and most of the times in English, but sometimes in Hindi and Bengali. And Prabhupada insisted the devotees should be present, because even if we don't understand the language, something we capture. Yeah, and that's the consciousness. Yeah. So it means when we enter kirtan, even the instrument players, I do conduct holy name retreats in Ekachakra and other places. So there we also explain these things. So a Mridanga player, if he wants to show off, that consciousness emanates from his fingertips and goes on the Mridanga. And the Mridanga magnifies that consciousness. And if you're a little perceptive, you can feel, Mridanga is always a little bit too loud. He wants to bring attention to himself. It can ruin the whole kirtan for somebody who is a little perceptive. Yeah. Or even clapping is counted as an instrument in kirtan. And maybe you have that experience here in Amsterdam, I don't know. But very often we have somebody in the audience who likes to clap really loud, right? You ever had that? Oh, so irritating, you know? Why? Because that consciousness, I want to be heard, and okay, I can't sing and play Mridanga, but at least I can clap, you know? And it contaminates the whole kirtan, actually, because that ego consciousness, if I may say so, travels on that sound vibration coming from the clapping, and if you're a little perceptive, you can feel that, and yeah, irritating, even cartels also, everything. Yeah, so when we join kirtan, we really have to be in this mood of serving the Mahamantra, not killing the Mahamantra or showing off and using it as an opportunity to bring attention to ourselves, glorifying ourselves rather than the Lord, even though the holy name in itself is pure. But we put a layer of poison on top of this by using the kirtan as an opportunity to show off. Yeah. And maybe one last thing before we ask for questions. It may be a little challenging for some of us here to accept this, but it is really like this, that the camera lens cannot capture that subtle energy of consciousness. Yeah. This may be disappointing to some of us if we are very attached to watching online, but we only, even the mundane communication experts, they give this well-known communication pie, you know, and they say 7%, small piece of this pie, is transferred through the words. Only 7%. That's why just through text messages, if you don't know each other's mood and intention, you can really misunderstand each other. Then comes another 38% through the emphasis and tone of the voice. So that's why a call transmits more, 38. But 7 and 38 is 45. So there's still 55% missing. And that comes through personal presence. Yeah. Through the energy, through the consciousness with which a person says things. When we sit in front of a person, then we can get the whole communication, you know? Yeah. So even mundane communication experts know this. And same thing is there in singing and speaking. You only capture about 45%. But the main thing of the power of consciousness, which should uplift and purify our heart, we miss out. And this is good to know, because then we will give first priority to hearing in the presence of a person. A person, yeah. All right, pandemic, we couldn't, you know, and many things went on Zoom and online and all that. But now pandemic is over, and let's get back into the personal presence, you know, yeah, because there we capture more. And I once had this really strong experience confirming this. I was conducting a very, well, it's not because I conducted it, but we had a very amazing Holy Name retreat in Bangladesh at Pundarik Vidyanidhi's appearance place. And one not so senior devotee was leading this kirtan, which was so amazing. Every Maha Mantra was like a huge wave of bliss flooding our hearts. And it was not only me who experienced this, I could see everybody experienced this. And it was almost like somebody else was present. Who knows who? But yeah, it was a kirtan which I've never experienced again. And somebody filmed this. And they gave me the DVD. You know, it's a few years ago. And I was so excited. Okay, let's watch this kirtan. And so, where's the bliss? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And it didn't come, you know? And then I thought, oh, yes, of course, stupid me. Of course, the camera lens cannot capture that wave flooding the heart, that bliss, that energy. No, it cannot capture. You know, I was very disappointed, but of course, I immediately realized, yes, this is what confirms what I'm always saying, you know, that, yeah, you cannot capture it, you know. But there is two things, and Govinda Maharaj, maybe some of you have heard his name, he speaks also about this. And he says that there's two benefits from hearing online. One is that we remember that feeling when we were sitting in front of that person and hearing from his mouth, you know? Yes, that's what we do when we hear from our guru or favorite sadhu or something. We actually remember, yes, that was so blissful sitting in front of him. And that remembrance nourishes what we were capturing then for him, from him, right? And the other effect it has is that we hopefully long for the moment when we can again sit in front of that person. It nourishes that longing. Oh, yes, next year in January he's coming, and I'm going to be there and hear again from him and join his kirtans and so on. So these two things are the actual benefits of hearing online. That we remember the moment and we long to once again be in the person's presence. But otherwise, we are not getting the full package. Yeah, that subtle energy we're missing out. So good to know, and always give personal presence preference, first priority. And of course, if we live so far away that we can't come, all right, something is better than nothing. So, yeah. All right, 5 to 5. I thought I had so much time, but there was a few things which we didn't have time for. I did also want to share how trees, that they're very special entities actually, and they also have a powerful consciousness and they communicate amongst each other, and the weaker trees, they're supported by the stronger trees. Oh, there's a whole communication going on, but we, in these modern times of technology, we become a little dull towards these subtleties, and we are not even conscious that consciousness is in every living entity, also trees and everything. Vegetables, pot plants, they grow better with classical music. It's a proven fact. They don't like, techno and rock and roll, but classical music, they like that, yes. So, because they also simple pot plants, they captured that energy of music. Yes, the vibrations. All right, let me see. Do we have any question? So many hands are going up. So where do we start? Let's start with you, Prabhu. I dare say, yeah, I get your point. So I dare say it's a little more than modes of nature, because that particular taste of chocolate was in the kidney, you know. So it's not just mode of passion. Mode of passion taste can be for so many things, but no, it was chocolate. So it must be more than just the modes. That actually, I mean, the way I understand it is that consciousness is built of many building blocks, which include taste, likes, dislikes, attractions, so many subtle things. That's all in that building block. It's all included in consciousness. Otherwise, how could it be that people feel that craving for the same food that the person had, who donated the organ? So in general, as we mentioned, the consciousness is covered by the three modes. But then that leads to certain attractions and tastes and likes and dislikes. And that's also stored there in each cell, you know? I mean, well, see, only we have mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So, but how can you describe the mode in connection with attraction to the eating chocolate? Yeah, no, but it's more because Chili is also passion, so many other likes, attractions is passion, ignorance, but now it's chocolate. So it must be more defined than just mode of passion, you know, isn't it? I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But I dare say it's even when you knead the chapati dough, and when you knit a scarf, it's not only the fire. Well, air is always there, you know. Well, it still doesn't clarify why it just mode of passion is not enough. But there must be some more, subtle categories there of passion with certain tastes and likes and dislikes. All I can say is, well, that's the consciousness. It's that powerful energy coming from the soul and reflecting our consciousness, our tastes and likes and attractions and aversions, you know? And of course, they are influenced by the three modes, but still it's more detailed. Because if it was just passion, well, eating meat or, some other sweets, but no, it's chocolate, the same taste. So, yeah, that's how subtle and detailed consciousness is, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into brain gymnastics here, but yeah, let's quickly see if there's any other questions. Yes, Prabhu, let's see. Hmm. Well, I'm not saying that. I would say yeah, it's a personal thing. I'm not giving any rules here. I'm just saying if you do it once, as a big exception, it may not affect you immediately. You know, that was the point. Yes. And oh, I mean, all I can say, well, if we talk about fruits and vegetables, we have Almvik in Sweden. That's a farm community in ISKCON, Almvik. I've been there many times. I know one family, he grows organic vegetables. And I once talked to him about this. And he said, yes, my neighbor has better soil than me, but my carrots taste better. Why? Because I talk to my carrots. I grow them with love and devotion to be offered to Panchatattva in the temple. I chant Hare Krishna to them, and they feel this care and devotion, and therefore they taste better. Yeah. And you can see this. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in Amsterdam like in Germany or anywhere else. If you go to a supermarket, you can buy organic vegetables, but they often are so tasteless, even though they're organic, because they're actually not grown with love and devotion anymore. Because the carrot is also a living entity who can feel, how the person who is growing them, what their mood is. But then when you eat carrots grown by some granny in the backyard, they taste like proper carrots. Yes, yes. because she grows them with devotion and care. In these commercially grown vegetables, there's just some machines going up and down who give that give the water and pull out the weeds and this and that. There's no consciousness involved there anymore. So for the carrots, this is pretty miserable life, you know, because even in a carrot, there is a personality there. There is a spirit soul there which reacts to another soul caring for them. So yeah, and you can even see it with flowers too, these commercially grown flowers. They look pretty dead and don't have any fragrance, and they look like plastic. But if you get flowers from the garden, whole big difference, you know. And they have a nice smell. The roses from the garden, they smell like roses, Yes, and they emanate a different energy. Yeah, so I mean, homegrown things are always the best, because of that energy going in. Yeah. Yes, Phoebe. Well, the parents, not necessarily the mother. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's described that the soul takes shelter in the semen of the father. And the mother's womb has to be, it's like growing something. You need good seed and you need fertile ground, you know. And both their consciousness attracts a certain soul, you know. So there is many souls which are already in a more elevated stage. Even the demigods, they're queuing up to take birth in the Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement, but they want to take birth in a Paka Krishna conscious family. So they're standing in line, they're waiting, you know, until a suitable family invites them. Well, that's just Yeah, because, we've been carrying the subtle body of mind, intelligence, thoughts, ego that has accompanied us for millions of lifetimes. So at the moment of death, soul leaves behind the gross, useless body and travels on the subtle body of mind, intelligence, thoughts, ego, according to their consciousness, to the next womb and continues there. So in the subtle body, there is so many experiences, impressions. They're stored there from so many lifetimes. And if we want to go back to Godhead, the subtle body has to be fully spiritualized and transformed. All the material impressions and desires and attachments and experiences, they have to be replaced with spiritual attachments, desires, and experiences. It's quite a big job. Yeah, yeah. Okay. How long shall we go? 5 more minutes? I don't want to get into trouble here, so you have to tell me. You take the trouble. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, after that we can. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, very true. So, if a person is like Prabhupada in a pure divine godly consciousness, then simply that powerful godly energy emanates. And for those who are attracted to that kind of consciousness, they find Prabhupada very attractive. you know. But then somebody who is covered in mode of ignorance and passion, and they're very lusty, so then they are attracted to lustful beauty, you know? Yeah, yeah. So it depends. Yeah, yeah. What else? Yes. Sorry to neglect you. I can't quite remember the point. I would have to read it. Not quite sure. I mean, as Prabhupada says in that purport which we read, consciousness is, this sign of life. And wherever the soul is present, wherever there's life, there's consciousness. It's the life force, you know. So, yeah, I mean, we can say consciousness is everywhere because there's so many living entities, you know. Not only human beings. I mean, some people they doubt that animals have a soul. Of course, they have a soul. Otherwise, how can they be alive? How can they feel, emotions and act and move and grow and do so many things? So wherever there's growth, there's life, and wherever there's life, there's soul, and wherever there's a soul, there's consciousness. So, and there's so many insects, microbes, this, that, you know? Yeah. That's how I would explain it. Yeah, yes. I mean, you go in the forest, my God, there's trillions of living entities which we don't even see, or microbes and insects and whatnot. Every blade of grass, there's a soul there, you know? Yeah. So, pooh, it's quite mind blowing, And yeah, there's a whole energy and consciousness. That's why it's so nice to go in nature because these living entities give off different energy, different consciousness, especially trees. They give off healing energy, they take up negative energy. So they're not only transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, but they also transform negative energy into positive energy. So that's why going through a forest, going for a walk in nature is very, yeah, nice for our minds. Even Prabhupada says this too, that parks, we people should go regularly to parks just to clear up all the confusions there in the minds and yeah, recharge with good energy, which these plants emanate. Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. All right, the conch is coming. So at the end of the announcements, I will say a little bit about these books I've published. Yes, because I hope that some of you will be interested in this. Actually, this topic is in the book about false ego, first chapter, so I'll explain a little bit later. Okay, and I will be out there on the book table if anybody wants to personally connect or ask more questions. I'm available for you there. Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Var. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Kiba Jaya, Jaya Gaura Chande, Arotika Shobha. Bolo! Kiba Jaya, Jaya Gaura Chande, Aratika Shobha. Janavitavane Jagamanaloba. Dakene nitai chan Bame gadadhara nitai Nikate Advaita Sri Nivasa Chatradhara Vase Ache Gaura Chan Ratna Singhasane Arate korena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Narare Adhe Kore Chamara Dolaya Jai Ho Sanjaya Mukunda Vasugo Sadi Gaya Shankar Bhaje Kanta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Medanga Bhaje Panamarasala Medanga Shankar Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhu 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 Bhaje Shankar Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhu 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 Bhaje Shankar Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhu 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 Bhaje Madhu 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 Bhaje Koranga Madhu 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 Bhaje Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujjvala Oh Koti Chandra Gala Deche Vanamala Kore Jalamala Shiva Chukana Radha Preme Gadagada Jai Shankar Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gora Rasampada Kiba Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Gashoba Jai Gora Chandra Jana Vedavane Jagamanoloba Jaya Gauranitai 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 Nitai Gauranibo Haribo Haribo Gaura Haribo Jaya Karuna Nitai Gaura Chandra Karuna Nitai Gaura Chandra Hari Hari Bo Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Bala 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 Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Prabhupada Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Jai Nama Om Hey Prabhupada Bolo Namaste Saraswati Deve Gonavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyachadeshatarine. Thank you. Namaste Deve Gonavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschachare Chatarine. Thank you, thank you. Namaste Saraswati. Hey. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vina Bolo Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Wow Gaura Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Haribo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Ram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hey Chaitanya Hari Hari Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Gaura Bhakta, Nitai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Mahaprabhu, Govinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hari Bol. Jai Shri Krishna. Hey. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Krishna Krishna, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bo. Hare Krishna, Whoa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Oh, whoa. Nitai Gauranga, hey! Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gauranga. Whoa! Eh, Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Walla Walla. Oh, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Whoa. Gaura, Gaura, Gaurani, Gaura, Gaura, Gaurani, yeah. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, hey. Ah, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Chaitanya, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, ha! Yuga Dharma. Chant and be happy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Alamo, yeah. Krishna, Krishna Balaram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Jai Panchatattva ki. Rama Rama. Whoa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sankirtan Devaki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Whoa, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, hey, Jaya Jaya, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo bolo, on and on and on and on, go down go. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Whoa! Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Govinda Gopala. Govinda Govinda Gopala. Govinda Govinda Gopala. Oh boy. Bula Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bula bula. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Forever. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, hey, hey. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everybody, hey! Krishna Krishna, Shri Radhe Shyam, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Panchatattva. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Bolo. Hey, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Hey, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Haribol, Haribol. Oh. Ah, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Haribol. Ah, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Oh, Jai Gaura Premananda Haribo. Jai Om Vishnu Patra Mahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotar Satashri Srimad. His Divine Loving Grace, Abhay Charanata Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sat Goswamis Prabhu Ki. Prem Se Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Ganadhar Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Braja Bhumi Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki. Ganga Maya Muna Devi Ki. Tulasi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. Transcendental Prashadam Distribution Ki. Transcendental ISKCON Amsterdam New Temple Ki. Shri Karuna Nitai Gaura Chandra Ki. Nitai Gaura Premananda. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Namaste Narasringaya. Praladadadayine. Hiranyakasipurvaksa. Sila tangkana kalaye. Ito nusringo parato nusringo. Yato yami tato nusringo. Bae nusringo lilaye nusringo. Nasri manadim salanam prapaje. Tavagara kamala vare nakamadhuta sringam. Zaitam niranya kasipur tanubringam. Kesavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nasringadev, 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 Jai Nasringadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for coming for today. It was amazing, today's Sunday feast. First, we're gonna thank our dear guest, Her Grace Devaki Mataji. It was amazing lecture. Actually, I got a little bit smarter after the lecture. It was very a wide lecture about consciousness. I am very grateful that I am here today. Thanks to Devaki Mataji, of course. And we're gonna thank today's pujaris. It is Prajarani Devidasi Mataji, Ashtasaki Mataji, Prana Mataji, and all the team. We thank. And also, I would like to thank today's the flower design. How to say? Who designed the flower for our dear deities? It's Lalita Mataji and Nartaka Mataji and Trivian Mataji also. And we're gonna thank our cooking team today. It is the Ishwari Mataji cooked today for us and her team. And so can we say I want to thank our Kirtanias, dear Rupa Manjar Mataji, Chitraleka Mataji. Thank you very much for everybody. And can you say one more time Hare Krishna for everybody who is doing service today? Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As you know, last Friday we had a kirtan by Vishwamba Prabhu. Who was there? It was, yeah, wow, it was amazing, right? So we would like to say still we are looking for a new temple, new place, and if you know anywhere, somewhere is suitable building for temple, please let us know. And also there is application paper. We would like to register a new membership for ISKCON Amsterdam Temple. Please feel free to register, and for donations or registration, there's a QR code you can scan. Also, we have WhatsApp app. Also, you can approach each of us personally too, if you have any questions regarding that. And also, I would like to tell you about temple programs. We have every Tuesday we have dinner club. Yeah, we are welcome to join the dinner club. Every Wednesday we have a Bhagavad Gita lecture by Jagadish Prabhu. Every Wednesday, every Wednesday. So and next Thursday, yeah, it's coming, it's coming. Yeah, yeah. Thursday we have Japa meditation by Esther Mataji. The flyers is coming still. And on Friday we have Bhakti immersion program by Yoga Maya Mataji. So please feel free to come to join, and thank you very much for today that you join. Can I ask you who is the first time here? Haribo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Please, one more time, please keep, yeah. We have 3 person now so far. Okay. Now is the first Devaki Mataji talks, and then, oh, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would like to share that one of our elder members of the community, some of you may know him, many of you may not know him, Dr. Barry. He was from England. He left his body on May 28 last week, and he was artistic person, devotee. He loved kirtans. He came many times to the kirtan nights many years ago on a Friday, but last years he has been by himself and actually was kind of enjoying that also, being by himself. But yeah, he left his body, and I would like to ask everyone to pray for his soul's destiny by chanting Hare Krishna mantra for Bhakta Barry. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. And I want to extend a special welcome to another senior member of ISKCON Netherlands. He's been around a long time. He's been gone to our former colony Suriname, and his name is His Grace Gauranga Premananda Prabhu. Ki Jai. Yeah, he's still here. He's again here now. Since when? When did you come, Prabhu? Yeah, a few days ago. Gauranga Premananda, when I joined, he was already fixed up on Sankirtan preaching. He distributed thousands and thousands of books. He collected so much Lakshmi for our centers and preached a lot. He would, when he visited a big, he would go door to door to companies and get amazing amount of donations. And then just to enjoy himself, he would go to the students afterwards or before, and he would just preach to the students and give them Bhagavad Gitas. And he's an amazing devotee, and we thank you very much for coming again to Holland, and I hope you will have a beautiful stay here and we can benefit from your association. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
I forgot his name. His Grace Gauranga Premananda Prabhu is staying in Amsterdam, and he would like to stay in someone's house for 1-2 days. Is it possible? Please raise your hands.
Gauranga is pas weer terug in Nederland. Ik ken lang en dergelijke. Maar het probleem is, hij heeft geen huisvesting. Dus hij moet zich registreren. En ik heb hem opgevangen, hij is met mij. We hebben een paar dagen in Friesland.
So this is Athokshaja Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, also welcome to you. Yes, he says that Prabhu is just returned to Netherlands, but the problem is he has no house, he has no facilities, he still has to make many arrangements. So far Prabhu has helped him, but we need more help.
Ja. Het is zo dat ze aangeven dat als hij zich wil registreren voor alle voorzieningen, ziekenfonds, uitkering aan huis en dergelijke, dan moet hij 2 à 3 adressen hebben. En ik heb hem mij de faciliteit gegeven. Ik ga samen met hem mee morgen naar het bureau. De gewone huisadressen. Want dan gaan ze bellen. En dan zeggen ze dat hij mag 2 dagen. En ik heb aangegeven dat hij 1 dag buiten slaapt. En daarom gaan ze hem de voorzieningen geven om te registreren voor ziekenfonds, want dat is verplicht.
Yes, so the rules in Holland are like this, that he currently, because he's not registered yet, he needs 3 addresses where he is allowed to stay 2 nights in a row, and then also he can qualify to get a ziekenfonds, what's that, health insurance, thank you, and general uitkering, what's uitkering? Social security, you know, the whole thing. It is quite a, yeah, the health insurance is important because, as we probably hopefully know, it is mandatory. And if you don't have it, they can even fine you for not having it. Plus, you still have to pay it every month. Anyway, so he just came, and yeah, it would be nice if there are some people that would like to help him by providing this address. Yeah.
Logeren. We hebben in Friesland gezeten en dat is 100 kilometer hier vandaan. Maar het moet in Amsterdam zijn en dan krijgt hij de voorzieningen. Maar morgen gaan we naar het kantoor en dan moet hij dat verklaren. En dan mag hij gewoon, want hij is een Nederlander, hij mag gewoon hier zijn. Alleen is het zo, de registratie is belangrijk.
So he says that tomorrow he's going to take Prabhu to the office to register. And also, so far, he has been staying with Prabhu in Leeuwarden, I mean, around Friesland, Oud Marsum or something, bit Marsum. But it's 100 kilometers from here, so he wants to register in Amsterdam. So, yeah, that's the affair.
Yes. Het is zo dat ze misschien gaan bellen en vragen van, logeert hij daar? En dan hoef je alleen maar ja te zeggen. En dat is het.
They don't actually have to host Prabhu. They just need to be willing to give their address for the registration. Or yeah, okay.
Dat ze zien, want de regel is dat je dus 2 dagen daar moet zijn, 2 dagen daar, 2 dagen daar. En dan zijn ze bereid je te helpen.
So the rule is that you have to be able to prove that you sleep 2 days here, 2 days there, 2 days there, and also 1 day on the street because he's like homeless still. So that's what they will pledge for. He's on the street, so he needs help. So you don't actually really, huh? Yeah, he also came from Suriname. You went through this whole ordeal, right? Yeah, and we're glad you did. We're glad you made it through, Prabhu. Yes. Huh. You have to. Yeah. Yeah. You have to. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. So I think they need 1 more address, right? 1, 2, 1 more. But you are not in Amsterdam, are you? It has to be in Amsterdam. Yeah. And you don't actually have to host him. It's just that when the municipality calls to check this system, then you say, yes, he stays with me. Yeah. Huh? They don't come to check. Okay. Anyhow, it is an opportunity to serve a devotee. You just only do it if you want it. Okay? Haribol.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
All the best.
Yeah? No, we don't have the facility for that. It's very unfortunate, yeah.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, being present in the temple and watching online. A short announcement, because this Thursday, maybe you know that's Ekadashi, but it's also still the auspicious Purushotama month. And 2 weeks ago, we did in Bhaktivedanta Manor a Japa marathon, which was amazing. So I thought maybe we can do the same here, coming together, chanting together. So that's in called the Japa immersion this Thursday, starting at 10. But Yoka and Lina also got their Harinam in the afternoon. So if you cannot make it in the morning for the chanting, you can maybe join in the afternoon. Please, anytime you have, come and chant together. It's very auspicious to be in the association of devotees and in this special month on Ekadashi. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We start at 10 and then at 2:30 we make our way to Amsterdam Central Station to go for Harinam. But come anytime you like. There's also Ekadashi lunch prasadam here in the temple and at 1:30. So please come anytime.
Hare Krishna. So we're so fortunate to have today His Grace Devaki Devidasi Mataji. Let's chant loudly Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Her Grace Devaki Devidasi Ki Jai. And Mataji has books with her, so we will.
Yes, I'm sorry I have to take more of your attention, but I just want to say a few words about each book to try and inspire you to get some and meet me out there. So, Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System. This is all about women. We women have a very powerful Shakti, and we are meant to empower the men and not compete with them. So any woman who wants harmonious relationships with men in her life should please check out this book. And every man who wants to get the empowerment of a woman should also check out this book. Then we have Sheltering Relationships. This is all about the importance of having a counselor, a mentor. In India we say counselor, in the West we say mentor. When you read this book, you will be clear that just having Guru is not enough. We need this well-wishing friend who guides us on a very regular basis. So you become clear without having a mentor and becoming one. Eventually, we actually cannot make advancement. That's the essence. Then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. Actually, today's topic of consciousness is the first chapter in this book. So the kidney with chocolate consciousness, you will find it all there. And so many more things, like when we get offended, when we can't forgive. This is all related to the false ego. And there's a whole chapter on chanting the holy name, how to chant in japa, in kirtan, to really be able to receive the power which the holy name carries. Then we have Entering the Grihastha Ashram. This is a handbook for matchmaking. How to see that a man and a woman are compatible for marriage. We need a bit of help with this. Our divorce rate is very high, and very often this is because people are not compatible. So here you will find a whole list of over 200 topics which both should discuss with a cool head, without pink glasses. That's why I made it pink, because the pink glasses, everything looks so rosy and lovey and dovey. And after 2 years, the pink glasses wear off, and then we realize, why did I marry this person? You know, yes. We can mess up our whole life if we get together with a person who is not compatible, you know, yeah. Then we have Family Life as an Ashram, Secrets of Success, how to create the culture of bhakti in our home. very important. If the kids grow into this culture, they become devotees. But if it's all Western lifestyle and, just do's and don'ts, don't do this, you can't do that, not attractive to kids. So it's like a manual for successful married life. And there's a whole chapter on physical intimacy in marriage, how to live this principle of no illicit sex life. There's quite a bit of confusion. Nobody talks about it. People are at a loss how to make things work. I did some research and I came across interesting episodes with Prabhupada, where he says things which most people have not heard. Very helpful. And last but not least, the Vanaprastha Ashram, meeting death with joy. There's a whole chapter on death, what happens there, how to prepare, how to support others. In this last 2 or 3 weeks, I've supported quite a few people in this last final journey, And there is a whole thing on Vanaprastha. What is it? It's not established in ISKCON. So yeah, Vanaprastha is a must. There's so many practical things. Even here in the middle of Amsterdam, we can live the Vanaprastha ashram. We don't have to go to the forest. So yeah, all very practical, relevant topics. Each book is 15 euros. Many people get the whole set, 90 euros for the whole lot. Very useful for preaching because each book is actually a 15-hour course, which I give in Mayapur. So if preachers read them, all you have to do is take a few notes. Prabhupada's quotes are all in there, ready as your seminar, yeah. So I'm trying to make Prabhupada's teachings more practically accessible to people, that's my humble mission. Thank you very much. Please come and meet me out there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And also let's chant loudly Hare Krishna Mahamantra for our Pujari team, for Mukti Datri Devidasi, that she was Pujari 30 years here, only one Pujari here for the 30 years. Yeah, no? Yes, no? Okay, you also been there. Janakinath Prabhu, Rajrani Mataji, Ashtasaki Mataji, doesn't work. And Priyana Mataji, Jai Shri Mataji, Rangaradhika Mataji, Jagadish Prabhu, and Radha Dyuti Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Karunita Gaurachandra ki Jai. Thank you so much. And now we will take prasadam with 2 lines.
Today, sorry. The last question, the last request, please. Who is able to help kitchen after 6 o'clock after prasadam? We need like 2 or 3 person. Yes, yes, and you okay? I remember you, so thank you so much. Yeah, we gonna eat now prasadam.
Mahaprasada Govinde.